Good morning, YouTube. How's everyone doing today? It's just rigging up my audio. I hope you guys can hear me all right. Leave it in the comments if you can't. All right, let's look at some of these Defiance funds. The market opened about 20 minutes ago. Let's see how everything looks. Okay, let's start with the spreadsheet. IWMY, these guys trade Russell. They sold the 1955 strike for 20 bucks. Boy, that's easy math. 2035 is the break even. I don't know. The market right now is, the market's trading in 1947. So right now, that's about a half profit. All right, we'll take it. Triple QY. These guys, let's see how these guys are doing. Okay. These guys sold 152 17100 strikes for 127. So those are the two numbers. We need to figure out the difference between those two numbers to get this number. All right. That's the break even. Strike price is 17,100. So we want at least 17,100 for price. And right now we're trading at 17,150. So we're 50 handles above where we need to be, above max profit. So that's nice. 1.9 million. I fixed the, I had a bad number on here and this was showing like a 5-cent dividend or something on Friday. I apologize about that. I saw it. It was late in the day and I just promised I'd have it fixed by next time I got on. Anyway, it was, so right now we're still running low. The good news is it's not 5 cents or whatever the other number was. That number was wrong, but 80 cents would still be better than 60. So we have a few more days left. We'll see. We shall see what happens. So JEPY, these guys sold the 49.80 strike for 27, call it 28 bucks. 49.80 less 28 is 49.52. So that's the break even. Strike price is max profit. Let's see where the market's trading right now. Right now, the S&P, or 10 minutes ago, whatever, the S&P was trading at 49.93. So we wouldn't have to buy that back for anything right now. So that would be a full profit. I want to check IWMY. Well, let's just look at the charts and see if this makes sense. All right, on IWMY, it was only one without a full profit. I guess it does make sense. It's probably the weakest. Let me get kind of the chart zoomed in here. Okay, well, 10 minutes ago, this was a partial profit, but right now it looks like a full profit. All right, let's look over at SPX. This is what JEPY trades and SPY-T nowadays. SPY-T right now is at a full loss. SPY-T spreads at a full loss, but SPY-T's shares are way up versus the Friday close. So SPY-T's in a profitable position, but not a max profit. SPY-T doesn't have a max profit. It just needs the market to go as high as it can. But JEPY, which just sells the in the money put, is at a max profit. It's captured all the upside. The upside's represented by this green box. The amount of upside that the market's trying to capture. So the green box, you can tell by looking at the width of the green every day how far out of the money these guys are selling their strikes. What happens is the market goes down and gets more volatile. You can see the size of these boxes. Look, these boxes up here, these boxes down here, twice as big. This green box is twice as big as any of these. Volatility was thin up there as the market started to pull back. Volatility gets bid. All right, let's look at Let's look at NDX. This is what triple QY trades. Hopefully they'll come out with a fund, a QQQT fund, which is just like SPY T soon. Although I don't know. I don't get the idea everyone's as in love with SPY T as I am. It doesn't seem to be growing as fast as like these other ones did, and it's a shame. It's probably because the 20% yield doesn't catch people's attention, but it's I think the way they do it is a very sustainable type strategy. Okay, in any event, NASDAQ, this one's at a full profit right now. That looks good. Boy, after yesterday's or after Friday's bloodbath. All right, so let's look over here. Let's look at some of the single stock ones. Okay. Tesla has a two-strike ladder, both way out of the money. These single stock updates have been kind of boring since these stocks started pulling back. A covered call strategy isn't that fun to look at during the pullback, even though the covered call strategy itself is a full profit when the market's down. The overall fund, because it's losing money, unfortunately. The good news is it's losing less than funds that didn't sell covered calls and have just taken the equity loss. So there's trade-offs with everything. But anyway, I want to see this thing turn around. Okay, now look at this. Just for you guys that don't watch some of my other videos, I'm going to give a real quick teaser or whatever. I'm starting a series where I do some earnings trades. And the only reason I thought that you guys might be interested in it is because I'm doing an earning trade that's just like the Tress trade. I'm just paper trading it, but I've done them in real life before too, with mixed success. But anyway, I'm trying to follow a little system or whatever. So I think it's interesting. Anyway, so my system is I have a long volatility trade. It's like a pair system. You have a long volatility option position. For every long volatility one, you have an offsetting short volatility position in another stock. You do it during earnings season. The long volatility positions are in stocks that have earnings the next week. So last week, I did a Tesla, the same trade that Tress does. Look at this. Here's the profit and loss graph for it. Okay, that's called a straddle strangle swap or a ratio diagonal. But what has happened in the meantime, Tesla's earnings are this week, and volatility has gone up. You can see this spread is now in a position where it can't lose. And it also serves as a good black swan hedge, because no matter what happens, even if good news hits the market, that's a black swan, surprise rate cut or something. But if bad news hits the market, that's a black swan, whatever, bomb going off somewhere and the market drops 20%, recovered either way. So I love this strategy. Anyway, I have a series on these earnings trades. So look out for them if you're interested in them. Anyway, the Tesla straddle strangle swap, ratio diagonal, whatever you want to call it, is doing great today because Tesla volatility is going up ahead of earnings. And that's how the system works. I'll explain system 2 at some other time. But let's look over here. I was just thinking about it while I was on it. Let's look over here at Coney. Of course, Coney trades Coinbase options. They do a synthetic covered call. They have a 3-strike ladder. Now, Coinbase has actually started to rally, thank goodness. Jackson, come on, buddy. He's got himself tangled up. Hang on a second. Come here, Jackson. Come on, buddy. He's a really smart dog, but I don't know why he can't figure out how to walk the other way around the pole to untangle himself. He's a smart dog, though, and I adore him. All right. Okay, so we have a 3-strike ladder on Coinbase, but at least Coinbase is going the right direction. So your goal, if you're a Coney investor, and this would be nice if you're a Coinbase investor as well, would be a price of $255 by the end of the week. Look at this trend line that's already started right here. You just want to continue and finish right about there. Just turn this ship around. We've been going down for a couple of weeks. Turn this crypto ship around. Let's look while we're talking crypto. Let's check out a little Bitcoin. Bitcoin's up 2% today. Now I'm going to zoom out and get some perspective and see where we are. We've been fighting this wedge pattern for a long time. And I guess we're going to have to call the wedge over. The wedge is met. It looks like down one, and we're going to have to get a new pattern. Anyway, looks like now we just entered a sideways congestion pattern, or maybe we're entering another wedge pattern, a wedge within a wedge. That's probably what it is. In any event, I think 68 is a key number. I've been looking at this middle line on the wedge forever. Just going back, you can tell it's a key support resistance, order flow, whatever you want to call it. So hopefully we can get over that number, get accepted, and then I think Coinbase and Misty and everything will be fine. Speaking of Misty, gosh darn it, I just remembered I forgot to update Misty. I was watching Retire on Dividends this morning, and he was talking about Misty, but then I got a phone call. And I just now remembered when I said the word Misty. Anyway, this is one. I bet they put on some more ladders, and I hope they have, because Misty's turned around and going up too. I'll try to make sure that Misty's ladders are correct. As far as the other two stocks we've already talked about, I know they're correct because I saw Retire on Dividends this morning, and that I got that information. You know, that's the video he made at 4 or 5 this morning, East Coast time. I get up and listen to him 7 or 8 Central time, and then make sure my stuff aligns. Good boy, Jackson. I thought that was Jackson was another talk. All right. So what else do we look at? Let's look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA's in the same boat as Misty. I haven't updated with today's information, but I did put information on there on Friday. I thought, oh my gosh, I just didn't realize, you know, that a picture tells 1,000 words or whatever, how severe that drop and how the selling really picked up. It accelerated on Friday. You guys want to chat a little bit, leave some questions in there. We can see what's going on. I'm bored. I don't got much stuff to do this morning. Well, that charity golf tournament is actually going right now in Oklahoma City. And but it's over at 2, and they videotape a bunch of stuff. So I have one more day of work. I always forget how much work there is involved. But I'm going to take all the stuff that people post on the internet, and plus that the company posts on the internet. I'm going to take their stuff, plus, people that are just there that post pictures and stuff, and make some nice stuff. Then I'm going to make a little video thanking the volunteers and stuff. So I'm going to be kind of busy today, but I'm going to be here with them with the 3 updates. We'll do a noon update and a late day update. Did you guys see my video? We can talk about my video when we talk. I thought I made a pretty decent video. I worked on it all day yesterday. I didn't post it till like 2:05 last night. I had all kinds of problems, just technical stuff, but I think it turned out pretty good. I think it was better than my video last Sunday. I wasn't happy with that one, although I got some pretty nice comments from people that are usually pretty tough commenters on both videos. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching my videos. Let's see what you guys are talking about this morning. Let's see what else is going on. All right, CJ. Yeah, I did have a great weekend. I worked on that video all day Sunday. Morning, Brad. Time to buy defensive ETFs. Yeah, I mean, is it? Well, let's look at that. When we're going to go back, let's put on some daily charts. Let's look at some daily indexes and talk strategy. See what it is time to do. Yeah, it may be. It may have been the time, CJ, to buy those last week. I don't know, but All right, TSLS. What is that? Inverse Tesla. Agree. Bought into SPY-T. Okay, now SPY-T is interesting because it's safer, but it's safer in a different way. You guys probably already know this, but in case you don't, I'm saying it for other people that are listening. It's safer because it goes up faster. But it actually, if the market keeps going down, it'll do a little bit worse than the other ones. It'll be closer to what'll do the worst is the SPY. SPY will fall the fastest, then SPY-T, and then the JP Morgan ones, but then JPY will fall the slowest. Anyway, that's fine. Don't worry about that. Because when the drop is over, SPY-T is going to blow them all away on the upside. So it's a trade-off, and I think SPY-T is considerably safer, but it also pays considerably less dividends. So go figure. So Brad, it looks like you saw the video the one last night. Great. Yeah, I did a good job on it, I think, and I tried to really stay on point. I got a comment yesterday. There's a person giving me some advice, and I read it, but while I was editing the video, but it was about my last Sunday's video, which was a mess. I mean, I said some really good stuff, but it just, it wasn't a great video. made some good points. Anyway, you know, and he gave me he or she gave me some constructive criticism. So I tried to apply that in the editing of this video. Anyway, all right, guys. So I'm glad you liked it. Okay, FTQI just got into defensive triple Q. Okay, is that one of those new Fidelity ones? They have this FYEE. I was going to do a review on that, and then I saw Panda did a review this morning on the Fidelity, and I knew that would happen soon enough that Panda or Retire would beat me to it. But since he just did one today, I don't want to. I'm gonna do something else today, but I do want to review the Fidelity funds. I'll compare them to some. I'll probably compare Fidelity to BlackRock or something. We'll do that here in a few days. We'll do that in a few days. I got enough stuff to do with the golf tournament and video editing. All right, let's look here. Let's talk market timing. Let's talk market timing. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about, put it in the comments. But let's just go back over. Somebody just said something. First Trust. Oh, yeah, the First Trust. Okay, so FTQI. So is that like a First Trust inverse? Is it an inverse? You know, nowadays these inverses is interesting. So the bullish ones are selling covered calls. You can also sell a covered put. The problem with selling a covered puts are it's unlimited loss on the upside because you have to short the stock. But these guys just buy an extra call, and you know, I think I'm interested in how the inverses are going to work out. Where you were saying it'd be interesting to have it. So it'd be great. So if you could time the market and you thought Tesla was going down, you get some inverse Tesla when it's going down. You know, I don't know if you rebalance and go like 75% inverse Tesla and 25% regular Tesla, since they both still pay good dividends. But then when you think the market's bottom, like hopefully it's bottoming today or tomorrow. Hopefully after these earnings are out, Tesla will go the other way. But anyway, if that was your opinion, then you could switch back into, you know, you could dump your inverse Tesla when that happens. Anyway, it's not available yet, so it's all just in theory. But I mean, I am pumped about it. All right, guys, let's look, man, NVIDIA. Let's put on some daily bars and get a little bit more perspective and see if it is time. See if it is time to go triple inverse on everything, or if this is going to bounce. So my theory on playing bounces is, if you guys want to know, is follow the longer time frame. Like, you know, I like to play SPY, and you guys know what I like to play. So look over here at SPX. I mean, there's nothing, there's no signs of life on that time frame yet. I mean, you know, I at least want the daily to at least, I mean, they haven't even put in a red bar or two or something. But so even though it's tempting to buy the dip, I mean, you know, I've just been using the 30-minute one, and I'll show you what I did the other day. I made a good trade finally. I was busy with the golf tournament. I haven't made a good trade in forever, but it's, and I'll show you what's happening to my good trade. We'll talk about my good trade. It was one of these days the market rallied kind of into the end of the day. It was either this one or into this rally, and sometime in there, I bought a put for 2 or 3 days later for Friday. I think it was this rally, and I bought a Friday put. Well, it worked out well. I had 2 of them, and I sold one of them. And then I sold the other one at the close on Friday. It almost closed at the low. So it was a good decision. In any event, that's the good news. So that was about a double. They were like 95 a piece, and I sold one for 180 and one for 205 or something. It was a little bit more than a double. Well, that's the good news. So I put all of that. I put that whole thing, because it's basically free money. It only started out as 180. I have 180 bucks in it, and now it's around 500. I put the whole 500 in puts for Wednesday. So if we get a continuation, so what I'm trying to do is pay attention to, and I'm not a great market timer or trader or whatever. So tell me if you guys have a better method. But anyway, this is just kind of my little method. So I'm staying in alignment with the trend in this time frame, using the longer time frame. So if we do have a retracement in the smaller time frame, I use that to get a better price to, buy low, sell high. And anyway, and then hope that it continues. A guy could even do that today, not recommending it, but into this bounce. It seems like all morning bounces have been been called, they've called bullshit on it every morning. That bounce, that even if we have a bounce and looks great in the morning. The other day, all three of them were above the profit box one of these days. Then I came back. I think it was this day right here. So what was that, Tuesday or something? I mean, all three were above the profit box, maybe except SPX or so. Anyway, boom. And then, then it sells off. It could have been any day last week. It could have been this one also. I could have done my lunch report and all three were pro. In any event, last week's kind of a blur because I was off my regular schedule, but yeah. So, if I didn't already have rolled if I didn't have a position right now, I would be thinking puts. That's just me. I don't know. Like I say, so I totally don't believe you can time the market. So here's what I do. I have about a typical retirement amount for a guy my age, just whatever that is. So what I do is just let the growth funds let that do its work. And but then what I do is take 10 or 20,000, which is a fraction of that. And when the market does crash, when it's going down, I should have got puts up here. I was too busy during the tournament. I should have already doubled my money once up here. Then I should have got some more down here and double my money again. Instead of being at 500, I ought to be at 1,000. And then I would have that whole thing riding until the daily trend reverses. I would put that 1,000 in. And then if the market does fall apart, if this really is, the 5,000, this is the retest of 5,000 this morning, it failed. Boom, the market falls, and then we're down 5% by the end of the day or whatever. Yeah, my 6 or 7 figure retirement portfolio took is going to take a $5,000 paper loss or whatever. But my goal is to be able to offset it with an occasional $5,000 put win here and there. That's what I like to do. It's not an official. It's not a hedge or whatever. But when you buy puts, when you have a retirement account that you aren't going to touch, I think it's a synergistic thing if you can, so we'll see. So it's a good news either way. It's just $200. If the market turns around and goes back up, it's $180 that I have invested. If the market turns around and goes back up, that's fine. The market goes down another day or two, then we, go down into the rest of the week. Then I'll have some money, and it won't be a total offset for whatever the other one's lost, but that's just a paper loss, right? Anyway, that's my theory. So I don't think you can time the market, and I'm not trying necessarily to time the market when the market's doing something that's against my main portfolio, like going down, and you can find a chance to buy puts, I think it's a synergistic or a decent play. So anyway, all right, guys, I love talking about trading. Yeah, tons of hindsight. Hindsight. I don't use stops. Sometime I'm going to make a video about stop losses. I hate stop losses. But anyway, all right, let's see what you guys are talking about. I want to hear what you guys say. Okay, short calls and pays the divvy. Short calls. Oh, FTQI just got into defensive triple Q. So it's short calls on and pays the divvy. Okay, I'm going to look at. So every time anyone talks about a new fund, and that first trust fund, I'm going to put on my list. Maybe we'll compare the first trust fund with the new Fidelity fund, and then compare them both with Bally. I'm kind of obsessed with Bally lately. Yeah, I believe no one can time the market. I really believe that, and so that's why I believe with 6 or 7 figure sums of money to do, the smart thing, which is allocate, diversify, long term, buy and hold. Mostly in growth, maybe a little bit of income, but anyway, so do that with the 6 or 7 figure parts, then try to take a little 4 or 5 figure fund for fun, but make it where it can't hurt you. When you're trading against the way your main fund's going, like I say, if the market turns around and goes up, I'm always fine with that. The idea is hopefully, even if I can't time the market and I lose a little bit playing puts because it's a bullish market, that's fine because I'm more than making up for it. Because my other fund, I think I was up 11% or something last year. So even if it was, so let's say it's 500,000, or let's say it's $1 million. You guys, anyway, that's my theory. All right, but let's look at some other charts or something. Yeah, but we'll do some FTQI. Also, if anyone communicated, somebody told me last week or gave me a super chat and asked me to to review. Anyway, I'm going to have to, if there's something that somebody's asked me to do that I haven't got to yet, just don't be shy to ask me again. Say, hey, Max, did you remember I told you, I asked you if you could do a video on such and such? Because there's a few things last week that I know that I forgot. So, but I have a really a long list in my note app. So, all right, let's look at another daily. Let's look at some longer term. Now, sometimes I like NVIDIA or whatever, but I don't have, I'm not an NVIDIA expert. But let's look at a little daily NVIDIA and see how excuse me, how the same system could be employed on NVIDIA. So, okay. That's darn it. My apologies. All right. Okay, so on daily NVIDIA, the thing that I look for is a close outside the Bollinger Bands with the follow through bar, and that one it didn't get it. That was like a fake out. But this right here, this one, and then this green follow through bar, you could kind of say, yeah, but that turned out to be a fake out too. But then by this one right here, this one, which was 2 days ago, that was a great signal. You would have got short off that one at around 829, or you'd be looking for short trades, and it's dropping like a rock right now. But so what I do is go back to the old 30-minute and look for retracement. So if we could get a retracement back to the orange line, which is middle on Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands, I switched to, everyone talks about EMA, how good it is. I thank Mike, the tactical stock scalper, and a lot of people whose opinion I respect. So I changed the settings on this to EMA. So this is just a 20 EMA. This middle line is just a 20 EMA. So when you have retracements to the 20 EMA, I mean, it's a place that you can look, for a trade back in the continuation of the main trend or the trend in the next time frame up, which of course is pretty hardcore down. I didn't make any trades here. I just like to talk about stuff. All right, let's look at Vivix. So let's do this. Let's pull up SPX, and then we're going to overlay a chart of Vivix. I love me some Vivix. Then we'll look at comments some more. So I'm just trying to get more comfortable at live streams. Pretty soon I'm going to start doing live streams like Kamir does it. And I'll do it on StreamYard, and Brad or CJ or whoever, if you guys, occasionally I'll have guests. I would love to speak with Charles. Charles is I would love to speak with Tom McGee, but I'm going to do some live streams and maybe get some other voices on there. I think that'd be interesting, but I'll still do the daily updates. But if you guys want to come on, especially Charles, but any of you guys, Brad too. I have two Brads that I really enjoy. Both have great comments. Sometimes I get you guys confused. I mean, but I know that I like both of you. Sometimes I get confused as to which guy said which thing, but both good guys. All right, so let's do this. So we're going to do a little Vivix overlay. So I love looking at VIX volatility type metrics to help put a narrative on what the market's going to do. Vivix is one of them. Vivix is the VIX of the VIX. Everyone's heard of the VIX, which is just the 30-day expected volatility of the SPX. Well, the Vivix is the 30-day expected volatility of the VIX. I get. I mean, it's the same thing. It's a derivative of a derivative. The Vivix can sometimes kind of be a smart money indicator when it's making new high. If it's making new highs while the market's going up, market up, Vivix up, look out below, time to get puts. I mean, that's the theory. It didn't work great that time. It hasn't given a great signal lately. It hasn't had a great divergence lately. But in any event, now the reverse can happen. So it didn't really give a great. I can't show you. Well, look up here, on a sell or anything. It didn't show anything, and it doesn't always work, like anything else. Well, when you're trying to look to turn around and when to turn around and buy this thing, you can also look for a bullish Vivix divergence, which would be the market's down and Vivix is down at the same time, which is kind of what it's trying to do. It's not really, it's kind of doing it in here. So you're kind of getting some bullish divergences here on Vivix. I don't know if any of you guys look at the term structure of VIX. I look at that a lot too. You look at the near month future and you subtract the far month future and you chart the spread. And you can, doing that, you can also chart the 1 month to the 6 month volatility. And we'll start doing that too. I love this kind of stuff. And you can sometimes find kind of decent spots maybe to buy the dip or something. Anyway, all right, so let's do this. Let's get a longer time frame. Let's put it on days on SPX and then look at VIVIX at the same time. See if this makes any sense, if this helps us at all. Trying to get an example right in here. VIVIX was up and right here. And I came on and did a trade and made a little bit of money that day. But right in here, it was showing, hey, this thing's going to retrace. And it did. It retraced for 2 days and then it went the other direction. It's just like today. I made money on one trade, then I rolled it down and, in case it kept going because I thought maybe that was the start of this. Anyway, but I was all ready for it. But then when this really did start up here, I was too busy on the tournament to get in early enough. Like I say, I should have about twice as much rolling, protection. I should be at anyway, whatever. That's what it could have, should have. The tournament is until next year. I have plenty of time, and it's whatever. It is absolutely whatever. All right. Hey, Retire, what's up, man? I figured you were at work today. I watched your video this morning. Oh yeah, because it's you're home because you have Sylvia today, don't you? That's awesome. I just remember I cannot wait to watch that. I forgot what time it is, but it'll be after the market closes because generally those people like to talk to you. So I'm betting it's 3 or something. But anyway, all right, yes. Okay, Max, just to remind you, I post you and Corey's videos in the Yield Max Facebook page. No, that's wonderful. Hey, I didn't even know that. So reminding me, maybe you did tell me, but I forgot. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so my station's taken a big hit lately. My revenue's about half of what it was last month. I don't care about the money, but it hurts my feelings. I'm competitive. And so I've got to get some new, and what it is these videos, just these little update videos, they don't really get any listeners. I have the same 20 or 30 of you guys that listen to every one of them, and I love every one of you guys. It's great. But you have to make the original content ones, the ones like I did last night, to get the broader audience. Well, but these are kind of loss leaders. I like to do them. In any event, yeah, so I'm trying to do an original video every day for the end of the month. You have till the end of the month. I'm trying to get my billing, or not billing, but it's like a business. It's like a small business. I mean, it shows you every day what your revenue is. I mean, I don't know. I'm not doing it for the money, but like I say, it's fascinating that Google will pay me money to advertise. I mean, in the old days, you had to own a TV station if you wanted to have a media company. Nowadays, you just have to have a MacBook and you could have a media company. I'm going to start a media company. My media company is going to be called Maximum Media. Hopefully someday we're a lot bigger than we are now, but you got to start somewhere. Okay, Retire. Yeah, Retire works at home. So you listen while you drive to work. Interviews at 5. Okay, well, everyone watch Retire on Dividends interview with Sylvie, and I know every one of you guys is going to anyway. So let's flip it over to the market while I'm just blabbing here so we can, if the market starts to move, let's look at old dollar. Remember, dollar was concerning last year. Yeah, dollar's like another type of VIX, or it's bad when it goes up. So we want to see dollar come back. Let's look at the 10-year interest rates. Oops. Now, this might be good for Tress if the 10-year keeps going up, because Tress makes money on bond volatility. If it keeps going up like at a fast pace, so we're going down at a fast pace. All right, well, Tress is stabilized. Tress is one of the best funds of April. It's one of the few funds in April that's up. I mean, if you guys saw my Friday buffer report, we'll look at the buffer report here. That's what we'll do. We'll look at the buffer report, then I'll let you guys go. Okay, but here's the chart of Tress, or TLT in this case, with the Valley of Death. And as far as TLT goes, it is moving down generally. It's trending down on the daily time frame, but in the shorter time frames, it's trash. It's been straight sideways ever since here, which was last Monday. We went a whole week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, without making any progress in prices. But that's fine, because these guys have a 90 put and a 90 call that they put on back here. That, and it expires on Friday. So for that position, straddle strangle swap is two positions. It's a straddle and a strangle. A ratio diagonal, a diagonal's two kind of, but anyway, so it's an embedded, you have a embedded strategy basically. So on the embedded strategy, yeah, you're pretty much a max profit. The other ones are still there in case something happens, but it's a fascinating strategy. So same strategy as Tress, just in case anyone, whatever I was talking earlier, and I said, well, let's check this out. That's what Tress's profit loss graph looks like. And so look, and here's the way these trades work. They're called long volatility trades. And it's because you have more long options than short options. They're called long, your net long, your long volatility. Here's what happens when you put on a trade like that and a volatility event happens. Let's say volatility goes up 20% real quick. It'll make your profit go up even if the market doesn't move at all, because your options, the extrinsic premium in your options is getting pumped up by the volatility. By the same token, if you have on a trade like this, like in Tesla, and let's say I forget to take it off and then they announce earnings. I think they announced Tuesday after the bell, and I'm doing something Tuesday. I'm probably doing something for the golf tournament or with Jacks, and I forget. I wake up Wednesday morning. This thing's going to look like this, and literally, and I'll show it to you. I mean, this is just paper, so we can do it because it's gonna crash the other way. That's how my system works. I do the long volatility trade, which is the straddle strangle swap, which is what we're talking about now, prior to earnings, and then I'll take this trade off Tuesday at 3:55 or 2:55, whatever, right before the market closes my time, and then then I put on a short volatility. I'll show you guys the short vol part of the strategy some other time, but then I have short volatility trades other places that should capitalize on. So I'm trying to you have no net exposure in the market. That's my whole idea. All right, guys. All right, retired. Tress did the best of the bunch. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. We'll look at the buffer report while you guys are talking too. You guys just talk amongst yourself. What sort of vol is Tress? Well, we don't know because we haven't seen it yet. I do know that they make gross profit every day. All of these, any fund that sells an option makes profit from selling the option, but it doesn't always turn into net profit. And Tress actually made net profit, and I'll show you where they did it for the first time since I've seen it. They do it by rebalancing. So what they did, it was this day right here that it was really falling. So that was the Thursday before last. They rebalanced on that Friday. They had a straddle strangle swap that was centered like at 92. They sold the 92 puts and they had bought the 93 calls. Well, 93 and 91. Well, anyway, they recentered their thing. Hang on a second, my neighbor's here. Hello. Hey, Dory. Thank you very much.
I couldn't find you yesterday.
Well, I appreciate it, Dory. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know where I was. I was busy, but thank you. Dory brings me her New York Times after her and her husband read it, and I always appreciate that. And of course, Jack loves Dory, and Dory loves Jack, so we all get along. All right, but I mentioned sometimes that I have to go mow a yard. Well, Dory's the yard I mow. So she has the pretty house that's next door. Yeah, and it looks like it's about time to mow again, isn't it? Okay, we'll do it either today or tomorrow. I do. I'll come get you first so the dog doesn't get out. Okay, well, guys, I appreciate it. You got a little morning neighbor stuff here. It's unbelievable how beautiful it is and how friendly people are in Austin. Anyway, I mean, they're the same way in Oklahoma. Oklahoma has some really good people too. All right, guys. Well, let's look at, but yes, Tress did. They actually made some, and that's why their price went up right in this time frame. And yes, on a relative basis, they're one of the only ones making money. All right, let's look at the damn buffer report and see if we're buffering today or see what's buffering. And I love, since I started doing the longer time frames on the buffer report, I can look at it any time. Go to sheets. Where is the damn buffer report? Buffer. Max's two-step. Anyway, that option strategy I'm talking about is Max's two-step. I have videos just on that. So anyway, look out for those if you're interested in it, or DM or whatever. Okay, let's check out the old buffer report. Okay, so this is one day. So one day, this early in the day, is not going to be indicative of much, but we'll damn sure look at it and see it's good to be misty. Look at that. Nice to be Coney and nice to be Nvidia. Maybe last week, maybe the pullback's over. You know, I mean, Bitcoin lots of times is a precursor, just kind of to risk assets, kind of like the VIVIX. I was showing you, people look at Bitcoin, people look at VIVIX, people look at dollar for clues, bonds, any event. Well, that's good to see. And really, we don't have any bad performers. Well, other than the usual suspects, let's just say. But we don't have a slew of bad performers. It's not like we have 5 or 6 underperformers. We do have Murny, which is underperforming like a big dog. And so is TSLP, which must feel nice for owners of TSLI. It's doing a lot better on a comparative basis. It's early. Okay, let's get out here. Well, let's look at the NASDAQ high yield complex. Okay, so it looks like the NASDAQ and S&P are both up about a quarter point. Well, look at old SVOL. I don't know if you guys saw my video. I kind of freaked out on SVOL because I was doing a comparison to try to compare it to that T-Jewel that I was trying to review. Well, I couldn't believe some of SVOL's metrics. So I'm going to focus on SVOL and try to do a better job, talking about it. I mean, like I say, I like it, but I've always sold covered calls. SVOL is shorting futures. It's the same thing, but I mean, I just like covered calls. So I like equities. But anyway, SVOL for diversification's sake is great. And it looks like maybe it's a better way to short equity. It's the same thing. It's just a derivative of a derivative. All right, so let's see what else. Any standouts? Look at old JEPI looking good this early in the day, outperforming. QDTE outperforming. I always mention this one seems to underperform a lot. It may just have a wide bid-ask spread. The reason it always shows up on the underperforming is just because at the close, it closed kind of wide and the price is bad, because this is just showing you a snapshot in time at the close. Usually when we look at it after the market closes, it's live during the day though. All right, TUGN, tugging, giving people relief today. Absolutely. All right. Tugging, giving investors relief. Old freaking Panda. Every time I see Tugging, I think about Panda's video and about his jokes he makes. That guy, he's something else. Look at IQQQ. This is a really good fun. Well, no, triple QI. I'm sorry. The IQQQ is fine too, but triple QI, I'm really also have a renewed interest in. YMAX, look at that big outperformance. And of course, we know why. It's because of those 3 stocks. All right, so now let's step back a little bit. So this is just the month of April. So that was the good news. The one day looks great, but man, look at the month of April. Holy shit. I mean, now I always try to think of the good news. The good news that I usually try to say is well, they're all buffering. It's about what we'd expect. They're in line with, performance. Well, no, a lot of these in this time frame over this month have underperformed on the way down. But a lot of them, I mean, Infly is doing exactly what it should. FFIBI doing what it should, But I'm just really disappointed in AMD. ULTY gets a pass for me. It's a different. I'm putting that in a different class, but I'm really disappointed with AMD, and Misty. But anyway, it's just that's just a snapshot of between March 29th and today. So now here's actually 30 days. So this goes back to March 22nd. So this is a little bit more bullish, right? I mean, on this one, I could be positive and say, well, they're all doing what they should do. They're in line with expectations. TSLP, that's in line. It's buffering like it should. It sucks that Tesla's down 18%. TSLP's down 14%. So what do? It's perfect. I mean, that's about as good as you could expect. Like I say, ULTY, that thing, it's its own beast. There's no way to compare it. I don't know about that one. All of these though, just buffering like you'd expect. So anyway, And it is good news to see when, if you go out longer, you get better results. That means the system works, in my opinion. If you look at shorter things and whatever you're looking at doesn't work on shorter time frames, but it all lines up in longer time frames, you know. All right, so USOI, I've been trying to track it more, but you can see it looks like it's barely moved today. I'm trying to find some other ones we don't talk about that much. In the 30-day, the only stock in 30 days that looks great is GUI. That's GUI. Anyway, I don't know why I say that. Goop and GUI both look great. All right, so that's 30 days. I think we've seen all these weekly ones. I don't really keep. It's too early in the week to look at a weekly one, right? I mean, that's what I figured. What are you guys up to? PTC's at 66,000, really? Wow. Yeah, Misty's up 7%. It's crazy. Yeah, the times, well, I never asked her for it. She's kind of forgetful and she just brought it to me. And anyway, but I do like to read it. I mean, it's a little liberal for my taste, but it's all right. It's all right. But it's still good. It's still good. It's not the paper it used to be. Let's just say it's not the paper it was when I was growing up, but what is. All right. Thoroughly of all of 20 didn't work. I'm trying to get in here on these conversations. What sort of, yeah, okay, I got it. Yeah. Well, when you're a long volatility fund, you can't have enough volatility. The more, the better. The only danger with a fund like that, where those kinds of funds get in trouble or get criticism, is we are going to get a vol pop one day, and it's going to, bomb's going to go off somewhere, and it's going to VIX is going to open at 35, and the night before it closed to 20. Something like that will happen someday. That kind of volatility, that'll do it. But then they're going to have a hell of a decision because do you sell it then? It's the hard thing is, when do you monetize the vol? Because is it going to keep going down? Wonder if you would have monetized your hedge on the first day of COVID instead of waiting another 2 weeks and letting it drop another 25%. I mean, now when they monetize, they redeploy. But the problem with redeploying in long vol strategies are they're redeploying in a time of volatility exploding. So when they redeploy, those second and third hedges they put on, lots of times they have less chance of being profitable. But anyway, and I was trying to ask Jay about that. I kind of said about Tress, I said, well, you can only hedge once, meaning, your cheap hedge only happens once. Once you take it off, and I don't think he understood me, or maybe, I don't know. I can't wait for a follow-up interview with him. One of my, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait a couple, 3 months. I'm not going to bug him for it, but one of my videos I'm coming out this week is called The 5 Questions That I Forgot to Ask Jay That I Really Should Have. And I'm going to go through some of this stuff, and you guys can make suggestions, and that'll be fun. Yeah. Have you Tuggin's something else, dude? I just can't be funny like Panda, but I mean, Tuggin. He's like, Tuggin's bringing investors relief. They're getting a lot of relief from Tuggin. Hey, Panda something else. All right. Have you guys seen his freaking dashboard? I mean, yes, Corey's spreadsheet is awesome. Retire on dividends is like looking at a corporate balance sheet. It's perfect. He's obviously a corporate accountant, or he appears to be working corporate accounting. Man, freaking Panda has he calls it his dashboard, and it is incredible. Okay, well, guys, I just noticed my computer's dying, and I forgot to bring my cord outside. So I'm trying to think if I should sign off or just walk inside and get it. Maybe we just keep talking until it signs me off. I don't know. But anyway, we'll just do that. We'll just sign off right now. I'll be back at lunch. All right, guys. Next time I'll remember my cord. But it's been a good talk. Let's check back in on the market really quick and see if we're moving. Let's put on SPX up a quarter point. Yeah. I mean, at least for now, it's not moving down. We need to get on the other side of this 20 EMA and start moving the other direction. And what we need to do is get a close outside the Bollinger Bands in the other direction, and then a confirmation bar. And then we try to get some positive momentum built that way. Maybe it'll pull back and retest, and, and then it'll be a whole new ball game this week, hopefully. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys.